the boy was strange. They praised him in whispers for how they prayed. The demon would go away.
There is one question I've always wanted to ask you, actually, personally anyway. How did this reggae and you come about?
God, I think the first reggae record that I ever fell madly in love with was Ken Boom's Everything I Own, which I actually ended up covering. But
And it was an awful version, I must say.
dreadful. No, absolutely.
No, it wasn't.
No, sacrilege. Because when I listened to the original, we never quite got. You know, it's so slow. It's just a bit. You know, it's like one of those things. I mean, it was a crime, but it was a necessary. I don't think.
A nice crime.
I don't think that you could touch the original. I mean, I didn't even know that there was a Bread song. And in fact, the irony was that when I first met you and I went to record in Montserrat, I met Stuart Levine and he said, "Oh, do you want to do a reggae song?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do Everything I Own." And he was like, "No, that's a Bread song." And we had this whole hoo-ha about whether it was a reggae song or a Bread song. And we ended up getting both versions. I think he went out to a...
I remember you getting it sent over from an island somewhere.
No, somebody went to a local radio station and got both versions.
Right.
And Stuart listened to it and he blew his mind. He was like, "Wow, what a great idea," you know. But that was the first record, and I think the other one after that was Hurt So Good by Susan Cadogan.
Right, okay.
Johnny Nash. Then kind of like through the punk thing, got more interested in like, because there was the whole punk rock against racism thing. So you were hearing things like Steel Pulse, you know. And then just through that, you know, like once I'd heard something that I liked, just started getting nosy, you know, just started kind of exploring. Actually ended up, we have a weird connection because I ended up, in about 1980, 79, 80, I did a TV show in Birmingham called Something Else. It was me and Martin Degville, who was the singer in TV Sputnik. And we lived together and we ended up doing this TV show and it was about freaks, right? And we happened to be on the show with Linton Kwesi Johnson. Who I knew, you know, I love that song England is a Bitch, I remember that. I'd never met him before. And we were on there and he was with these two Rasta women and they were talking about how girls shouldn't wear makeup and all this sort of stuff.
Girls.
Not realising that me and Martin weren't females. So these girls are spatting off about, you know, they've got their turbans on, they're beautiful girls, you know. They're spatting off at me and Martin. And I took such great pleasure in turning around and going, "Actually, I'm not female."
So you're right then.
And I remember Linton's face, he just went, I don't remember, but it was a magical moment for me.
I remember that.
A magical moment. But just loved Lovers Rock. That was really the beginning of it. And then got into things like the more political stuff. Then discovered General State and Clint Eastwood. Then Yellow Man.
Right.
And just got totally into the whole chatting thing and just got obsessed with that. It was great.
Then, why you formed this band? I know you did something called White Boys or something.
Yeah.
It was quite kind of punk, wasn't it?
It was kind of sort of dance floor. It was when we did our first record, White Boy. I was obsessed with dance music because I was obsessed with like clubbing, and I was a DJ then. I used to DJ in electronic clubs, and I was like, we can't make a dance record. And in fact, when we did Do You Really Want to Hurt Me,
That's what I was going to ask.
I was like so against that coming out. I went mad. I was like, when is that coming
How
out?
did the reggae side of that come
I wrote it over a dub plate. I wrote it over the B-side of a really famous reggae record, which I'm not going to say what it was.
Yeah, I can understand.
But there was a dub version of it, of this record on the other side, with no singing. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is because, you know, I used to get so frustrated in the band because they couldn't improvise. They weren't quick enough for me. So I could go home and put a dub plate on, listen to the rhythm and just come up with a great song. And that's how Do You Really Want to Hurt Me came about. And then Mikey came up with the bass line.
Which is a classic.
Yeah, which was really what made the record.
That's amazing.
And also I think the other thing about reggae, the other thing was because at the time, you know, sort of 1980, 81, I had the dreadlocks, I was wearing makeup. It was because reggae was so kind of anti-gay. Even then it was really anti-gay. It was like, it was a weird mix of things. It was like, because part of me kind of recognised the sort of struggle and the kind of militance of black people, you know, the sort of Rastas. And the other part of me was like, kind of annoyed that they kind of, you know, like, had this prejudice against me, and I was like, right, I'm going to rub it in their faces.
Did you think, I imagine, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, I mean, you know where I came from to it, you know,
Yeah.
totally different vibe. But did you think that they let you down? They were struggling against something. And
I didn't.
you
It wasn't even that. It
included.
was just I've always been attracted to things that don't want me. Guys that don't want me. You know, indifference. Anyone that doesn't give me attention.
Anyway,
or
I'm off.
anyone that tells me to fuck off. And
Fuck
anyway,
off.
anything like if anything's like kind of hostile, I'm like there. It's a weird thing. Like you push something in my face.
Oh, that is funny.
You chase me, I don't want to know. The minute you give me a dirty look or you try and keep me out, I'm very nosy.
Right.
Which is why I've kind of explored lots of things that I have, like
Yeah.
religion and stuff like that. Because I'll be like, why do you do that? Why are you dressed like that? I'm very like social sponge.
Well, that might also explain why you came to reggae in a kind of convoluted way. You love the music, la la la, and then they challenge you culturally.
Well, I think that you just hear things, like and also I sort of there were loads of clubs around that time, like the Language Lab, where people would go and chat and do rap, and it was like all early hip hop sort of reggae thing, and I used to go to those clubs, and I was like a kind of I guess I was the thorn in the side of the kind of the scene, because they're like sort of like drag queen, like totally girl with dreadlocks, big hat on, and it was just the idea of what I found actually was interesting was like I could go down to Notting Hill Gate and a proper Rasta would just be like, yes man, yes, peace and love, but the little raggers wanted to punch my face in. But like it's same in Jamaica. You go up into the mountains and like they're totally cool with you, like they don't give a shit, there's no trouble at all. Going to Kingston, everyone wants to run you over. It's that weird thing of like, don't tell me I can't belong, because I've had that all my life.
Weird. Yeah. Getting back to like some bringing it all down again a little, just a little time. Hi Phil, come in. Just open the door and make noise. On that very relevant moment of a student walking in and so beautifully bringing it all back to its logical earth. I feel that education is a wave. It's like a kind of, it's yearly simply because of its structure, but that it's a wave anyway culturally. And I've got a huge amount out of, we are in a position now, George, where we do know and have a lot of past. And how does that affect you or touch you?
In a funny sort of way, it's like, for me music is like a kind of diary, it's a way of just expressing what you feel, Exactly. Where was that?
That's the one. You got it.
Oh god, I did a Roy head movement. I just think that I just feel at the moment what I'm doing musically really fits what I feel more than any other time. I just feel like I know exactly what record I want to make and exactly what I want to say, and I know what by doing it the way we're doing it slowly. We're doing it for 12 years. But I think I'm going to make the best record I've ever made.
Well, I
think I'm going to make the first album that I can actually say I'm totally proud of this.
Don't you think also that's an artistic kind of
No.
given because it drives you on?
No, it isn't.
Had you made this seminal album in 1984?
No, I haven't. I've been really irresponsible with my music. Totally. I have. I've been totally irresponsible, and I know it more than any time now in my life. I know I have never done what I've never really. I know. I just know that it's like I've never given. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and sometimes it's just about having the right elements there. There's always some fucker in the way sticking the nose in, and it just feels a bit like kind of chilled now. It's great. One of the things I learned years ago, and when I first heard this, I was like, oh, they're rubbish, But I remember this spiritual guy saying to me, wherever you are is where you want to be. And I was like, fuck off, just really wasn't buying it. But one of the things I did, I was sweeping in New York, and I suddenly I heard that thing, wherever you are is where you want to be, and I thought, well, I can't say that I really want to be here, but there are worse things I could be doing. After like a few days of being out on the streets, people were like everyone that was working, Chinese people down manholes, scaffolders, people were shouting out, oh, fucking great, George. And I was like, well, people really being sweet to me. And I thought, why am I going to be annoyed with them?
Exactly.
I thought, you know what? And actually, what they're saying to me is they're respecting me for doing work. Get off my arse, and actually sweeping up. And all it was a bit of sweeping up. And I just started having a laugh. I mean, there's a box of hangers on the street, and I just picked them up, and I was like, no! What? just started fucking making it into a cabaret. Because that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a cabaret with litter.
But you said yourself that you kind of turned the sort of, I didn't have a voice and I found a voice, you turned that into a cabaret.
Yeah.
Which is kind
Definitely.
of coming from a slight dark place, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's like, but just this, you know, I think there's,
it's channeling.
if you come for the, I think a lot of, you know, some of the press things I wrote was like, they're coming from the assumption that I'm this big fucking namby pamby poof that can't fucking pick up a broom, you know, it's like, I'm a scrubber. A rubber-dub scrubber. A bust your mind lover. That's it, I'm going home now. Thanks.
Nice one, Stuart. Wicked.
You're good.
Everybody knew